My name is Ashish, again from Pune Entrepreneurs Ecosystem, POCC. So, given that the family investors, the family offices having what do you say, a deeper interest in the entrepreneurship, that's what I've been hearing. In the business side of the thing, in running the business, etc., helping the entrepreneur mentor. So, would you be more open than the VCs or angels to kind of go together with the ecosystem, uh, probably mentor some entrepreneurs who are looking for funding, because typically you are looking at also early stage beyond their first round of funding. Is that what is on the cards?
Is your question about how family office is open to mentoring entrepreneurs? Is that
Yes.
yeah? Is that correct?
Yes. Pre-investment mentoring.
Sorry?
Pre-investment mentoring.
Pre-invest. Yes, I mean that depends from I think person to person how much time they can really give. But I think more and more I'm seeing more and more entrepreneurs who are doing that, just mentoring and just giving advice, domain expertise and things like that. And that's actually I'm very happy to see that happening because I think that it just helps build the ecosystem for entrepreneurs to be a better chance of success.
Yeah, I mean this is more related to another observations where some of the angels kind of get into an accelerator mode where they actually work with budding entrepreneurs, guide them, and then of course then they have their first pick on the best of the entrepreneurs.
I'll quickly share a perspective on that. So we, as because of the fact that there are, fundamental alignment of the, pleasure which you get and the happiness which you get in engaging with the entrepreneurial fraternity. At this point in time, we are mentoring around 6 to 7 ventures, which are all pre-investment. So, not necessary that, we end up investing into that. It's completely a very neutral approach of doing it. But we do that engagement specifically with spaces where we actually see that we can add value. So it's only spaces, say in our case, specific to consumer B2C businesses where we see that our inputs actually make sense for the entrepreneur to scale up and to bring his venture to a readiness for going into for a angel or a seed investment round. So therefore, that's critical in terms of that value add. Yeah.
Great.
I think the only thing I can say is that there are some organizations which are existing where we participate who filter some of these, early stage so that our time is more meaningfully deployed towards the ones which really are at a stage which needs mentoring, pre-investment.
Got it. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Sanjay Khanna. Naveen, you mentioned that most of the real estate funds who invested in the period 2005 to 8 are probably nearing their maturity cycles now. What are some of the options available to them today? How will they get out?
Okay, I won't know how will they get out, but I think two things worth mentioning here. One is that these funds were largely the equity-linked funds, where it was more of growth, right? So you're riding, or you expected to ride the equity cycle there. So most of them actually got it at the land stage and et cetera, et cetera. Two things which have kind of worked grossly against them. One is given the large fund size of 4,000 crores, 3,800 crores, et cetera, their average transaction sizes have been in excess of 150 to 200 crores, which was expected to grow to maybe 300 crores, 350, 400 crores, which obviously has not happened, right? However, from the fund's perspective, their expectation of valuation still remains intact. That again is not happening, and that is not likely to happen, right? So investment of 150 crores of 2008 is not going to fetch him 300 crores and that writing is on the wall now. So even by seeking extensions, which a lot of funds are now doing, basically you're trying to find more time to be able to negotiate at the best possible valuation and exit out. What that means is that will it impact IRR? In some cases, not just IRR, it will impact the capital as well. And that's a fact. I mean, we all have to agree to that. In a lot of cases, you will probably be underwater on capital as well. there are plenty of fund houses where their investments have actually gone underwater. There are. So that's one cycle which is going to happen, and that is, you can attribute to many reasons, but this is bound to happen. And the only differentiator with us as Milestone was that, which I said earlier, that our average transaction size was very small. We raised 350 crores, 400 crores, so transaction sizes were more in the region of 40, 50 crores. The 40, 50 crores of 2008, divesting in the form of, maybe 55, 65 crores, has been relatively easier. That's the reason we have been able to divest substantial amount of money. Like with enough pride, I can say in the last 18 months alone, we have returned close to about 1,400 crores, of which 950 is capital alone, and remaining is all return. So early days fund, yeah, we have not been able to do a 18% as stellar return, but we have been able to do a 12% return. But capitals have not eroded. So the learning very clearly was larger transaction sizes have been impacted very, very badly. Of course, to add to that was a couple of wrong choices of geographies as well.
I think we have sort of run completely out of time, and we thank you for each of the panelists to sort of have taken their time out and made it. I think a round of applause for each one of them to be.
Absolutely.
Over to you, Arun.
Yeah, thank you indeed, Sumit, also for managing the panel so well. We ended on a note which said, like small is beautiful even in real estate. So that is wonderful, and thanks indeed for that perspective. Great, thanks. So we kind of break for coffee now, and the final panel of the day will start at 4 o'clock. This is going to be a entrepreneur for entrepreneurs by entrepreneurs kind of panel. So please make sure to be back for that. Thank you very much.